Hi guys, Assalamualaikum and greetings. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you on our MKT243 chapter 5, which is on price. So these are the learning outcomes or the learning objective for this particular chapter. It's going to be very short, okay? First one, we're going to look at the price definition, okay, and the importance of a price to the marketing managers. And then we're going to look into the pricing objectives. After that, the cost determinant of price. And then in 5.4, we're going to look into other determinants of price. And lastly, we're going to learn on the setting of the right price for your products or services. So let's get started on the first one. As you know, in chapter 1, you have learned a bit definition of price. So it is actually what is given up in order for you to get something, all right? So you have to exchange, which the medium of exchange typically using the money. So actually price plays two roles in the evaluation of product alternative, especially when you wanted to buy things, right? So you will consider the price of a product or a service, right? So the first role is actually the sacrifice effects of price. Okay, that means again what is given up, which is of course the cost of you getting that particular product, and it also includes, right, the time lost while waiting to acquire the product itself. All right, for example, you know the price of that particular product is so cheap. However, in order for you to buy that cheap product, you have to wait for a very long queue, okay, or you have to wait for a very long orders before you are able to get it. So there will be loss of time, loss of efforts, okay, or even the waiting time that you need to wait for that particular product before it arrives to you, right? So that is actually the sacrifice effect of price. If you want to get it faster, right, so you might need to pay for a bit more expensive price. But if you want to get it cheaper, then you have to wait for a bit long time. So that is the sacrifice effect of price. The second role is the information effect of price, which based on research, okay, normally we infer the quality information, or we reduce or we conclude that the quality information from the price, which is we have in mind that if the price is expensive, yeah, the quality of the product is very good, and vice versa. That means if you see that the price is so cheap, you might think that it is a poor quality kind of product. Now, let's look at the importance of this price to the marketers, all right? So prices are actually the key to the revenues, which in turn are the key to the profit for an organization. So revenue, what is the revenue? It is actually the price charged to customers multiplied by the number of units sold. So meaning to say, the more you sell in terms of the number of units, the more revenue you'll be getting. Okay, so revenue is what pays for every activities of the company, which includes the production, the finance, sales, distribution, and so on. Okay, so what is left, okay, if there is anything, is what we call the profit. That means revenue is just the amount of money that you get from selling the product. However, when you talk about profit, this will be the amount of money that you get after you minus your costs, right? So managers usually strive to charge a price that will earn a fair profit. All right, to earn a profit, actually managers must choose a price that is not even too high or too low, because you know, if too high, people may not want to buy, or even if it is too low, then you may not get your profit. Okay, so a price that equals the perceived value to the target customers are typically what the marketing manager will choose. Now let's move on to the second learning objective, which is on the pricing objective. Basically, as you can see in this particular diagram, there are three pricing objectives. Number one, we have profit-oriented objective. Number two, we have sales-oriented objective. And the third one is the status quo. So in profit-oriented pricing objective, the managers or the marketing managers typically may want to have this profit maximization. When you talk about profit maximization, that means you will earn the most profit. To earn most profit, you might want to charge the highest price possible. While a satisfactory profit, typically what is being chosen by the marketing managers because this is to just satisfy the organization to earn the profit that they would like to have. And another elements or the parts of profit-oriented pricing objective is the target on ROI. ROI stands for return on investment. Alright, so this is where managers will normally look into the net profit after tax divided with the total assets in order to know how much is the return of investment to be earned by the shareholders. Right. The second pricing objective is sales oriented. When you talk about sales oriented, that means you are trying to set an objective for a price to maximize your sales. All right, to earn more market share, meaning to say you try to put at lowest price as you can, okay, because you believe that if you put lower prices, people will buy more, okay, as you can sell more, all right, you'll be able to get more profit. Okay, and the third pricing objective is the status quo. Status quo means it is maintaining existing price to meet the competition. Right? This is actually a passive policy. That means you are trying to set a price that match your competitor's price. Okay, if your competitors is selling at 1 ringgit for each unit, you might also want to sell at 1 ringgit. Okay, if your competitors start to increase their price, you will also increase your price. Okay, so this is actually the way that you wanted to be competitive, okay, as compared to your competitors, so that when people see your competitors' price and your price, which are more or less the same, then you are actually hoping that people will also buy your product. Okay. Now, the third learning objective, which is the cost determinant of price, right? So the first one, we look at the element of markup pricing, which is the most popular method used by wholesalers and retailers to establish a selling price, which they do not directly analyze the cost of production, but instead they mark up their pricing using the cost of buying the product from the producer, okay, and then they add up or plus amount for profit and also for expenses that are not otherwise accounted for. So the total determines the selling price. So you can see example here. Okay, let's say an item costs the retailer 1 ringgit 80 cents, and the retailer then sell it, okay, for 2 ringgit and 20 cents, which carries a markup of 40 cents each. Okay, which if you convert to percentage, this is actually 22% of the cost. Right, so these actually markups often based on experience, right? It can be this 40 cents, or you can also increase to whatever percentage of your markup that you wanted to create, right? For example, many small retailers mark up merchandise at 100% over the cost, or in other words, it's actually doubling the cost. This tactic is called key stoning. So for example here, if you are selling at 1 ringgit 80 cents, if you mark up it to 100%, that means 180 plus another 180. So you get 3 ringgit and 60 cents. So that will be the price that you will sell. All right. Next one is on the profit maximization pricing. As you know just now, we're talking about profit maximization. That means the managers or the seller would like to have as much profit as possible. All right, so it occurs, okay, when the marginal revenues is equal to marginal cost. So what is actually a marginal revenue? So look at revenue first here, okay, which this is actually the extra revenue associated with selling an extra unit of output. So as long as the revenue of the last unit produced and also sale, the one that you sell, okay, or sold, is greater than the cost, okay, of the last unit produced and also sold, the firm should continue manufacturing and selling the product. That means you know that you'll be able to earn profit. So what is actually a marginal cost? So marginal cost is actually the change in total cost associated with one unit change in the output. So let's look at the example in the next slide. In this table, you'll be able to see the amount of quantity sold, right? That you can actually know that what will be the marginal revenue and also marginal cost. And of course, you'll be able to see here the cumulative total profit. So if you sell nothing, or nobody buy your product, that means you will not be able to get any marginal revenue or even marginal cost, so no profit. Okay, you don't want that to happen. And you can see here at number 6, all right, when you can sell 6 units. Okay, if you are able to sell 6 units, your marginal revenue will be at 80 ringgit. Okay, and your marginal cost is also at 80 ringgit. Therefore, you will be able to have your cumulative total profit at 185. Here is your maximum, right? Maximum profit, right? If you go below that, then you get less, okay, than 185 ringgit. Or even when you see that, okay, you sell at 7, 8, or 9, okay, you'll be able to see that when you produce it, right, your cumulative profit will be also lesser than 6. All right. And the last one is the break-even pricing. Okay, so in break-even pricing, it means break-even. You don't get profit, you don't get losses. All right. So break-even analysis determine that the sales volume. Okay, volume here means units of quantity that you can sell or you must sell in order for you to not earn any losses, okay, or not getting any profit. But of course you don't want that. The reason why you wanted to find out the break even is that you must calculate that how many units you need to sell in order for you to start earning the profit. Okay, so the advantage of break-even analysis is that it provides a quick estimate of how much, okay, you must sell to break even and how much profit can be earned if a higher sales volume is obtained. If a firm is operating close to the break-even point, it may want to see what can be done to reduce the cost or increase the sales. So let's look at the example. Here, you'll be able to see that at this particular point, which is a break even. Okay, you can see that the blue line here is the total revenue for your product, and also the red color here line here is actually your total cost. So profit is when total revenue minus your total cost. At the break even point, you must sell 4,000 unit. Okay, 4,000 unit. With that particular quantity, right, you are not getting any losses. For everything that is below 4,000 unit here, okay, in this particular yellow and also orange color box here, you are actually earning losses. Okay, earning losses. So you must sell at least 4,001 unit, okay, in order for you to start earning your profit. Here you will see that you'll be able to get a profit at this particular point, right? So for the company to actually start earning profit, they must sell at least 4,001 unit. If they are selling at 4,000 unit, that means they don't have any losses, they don't have any profit. But if they sell less than 4,000 unit, the company will be still suffering the losses of selling that particular product. Okay. The fourth learning objective for this particular chapter is on the other determinants of price. Now, in setting the prices, okay, there are a lot more other factors that will actually influence the managers to set what price should they put on a product. Number one, we look at the stages of product life cycle. Of course, typically, when you just launch a new product, okay, price could be very expensive because it's a new one, especially talking about a new technology. Okay, so as it goes through the growth stage and also maturity, and of course at the decline stage, prices are typically lower down. Okay, and of course other than product life cycle, you can see that prices are set also based on the competition. That means how much your competitors put their price, because you don't want your customer to go to your competitors because they are selling at lower prices. Okay, and then another determinants of the price is from the distribution strategy and also the promotion strategy. When you're talking about the distribution strategy, you're talking about who will actually help you to sell. If you sell directly to your customer, typically the price will be cheaper. But if you're talking about there are many other parties, Okay, these particulars, you are the manufacturer, for example, then you sell to another reseller, or that reseller sell to another agent. So agent, of course, they will mark up some of the price because agent wanted to earn some money also, or some commission from selling the product. So the longer or the more parties or intermediaries, okay, or middlemen that you use, the higher will be the end price to the consumers. Okay, next one is when talking about the promotion. Of course, this is where there are many what they call it, sales. All right, when you know, oh, there is a discount, okay, there is a special weekend sale, right? So the promotion strategy could also be influencing the price. And lastly, the perceived quality. As you know, of course, you have in mind that if the price is expensive, that means it's a high quality. So if you want to show that your product is of high quality, typically you will want to put higher prices. And of course, this perceived quality is also associated to the brands, all right? So there are brands that already been well established. When you talk about Apple brand, for example, or Samsung brand, people are well known about that particular brand. So they might want to put higher prices because of the perceived quality of that particular brand. All right, so whatever amount that people put based on the price that they think is suitable to show that the quality of that particular product is actually good. Lastly, all right, in this particular chapter, we're going to look at the setting on the right price. Okay, so these are the steps basically, all right? How to set the right price. Number one, you need to establish your price goal. All right, so you have learned just now there are three types of goal, right, or objective, which you know there are profit maximization or sales maximization, and another one is the status quo pricing goal or objective. Okay, so after you set that, then you will estimate your demand, cost, and also your profit. Okay, by looking at your cost determinants of profits. All right, sorry, cost determinant of price, okay, and also the profit that you wanted to achieve, or from your marginal revenue and also marginal cost, you wanted to see how much profit you will be able to to earn, right? So you will see an estimate here. And the third step is to choose the price strategy. Okay, so there are three price strategy, which is price skimming, status quo, and also penetration price strategy. Later I will explain to you further on this, right? So after you have chose which price strategy that you wanted to use, then you start to fine-tune base your price, okay? And then you set it, okay, how much RM, how many ringgit and cent, right? And after that, after you set the price, then you evaluate the result. All right, so when you see that, oh, okay, many more people buy, so there is no need for you to fine tune, right? If with that particular price, right, people are still buying from your competitors, or not many people buying your product, okay, you may want to fine tune base price again. Okay, so next, let's look at what the three pricing strategies here. So there are price skimming, penetration pricing, and also status quo pricing. So I'll start with status quo because you remember just now when I talk about status quo pricing objective, all right? So there's also this what we call status quo pricing strategy, okay? Which of course is the same thing like when you do pricing strategy based on, pricing objective based on your competitors, okay, which is status quo pricing. You are setting your price, meeting the competitor, okay, or the competition, or you're going to rate your pricing based on slightly cheaper or slightly expensive than your competitors. Okay, it means you are charging a price either identical or very close to the competitors price. Like if your competitors are putting at 10 ringgit, perhaps you wanted to put your price at 9 ringgit 90 cents or 10 ringgit 10 cents. Okay, if your competitors put at 1 ringgit, you may want to put at 99 cents, or you may want also to put your price at 1 ringgit as well. Okay, next, the price skimming. So this price skimming is a pricing policy whereby the firm charges a high introductory price, often coupled with a very heavy promotion. price skimming, typically you put high prices, okay, high prices in accordance to your profit maximization pricing objective. Okay, that is price skimming. Price skimming means put high prices first. Okay, as it goes through the product life cycle, for example, then you can lower down your prices. That is price skimming. In penetration pricing, okay, penetration pricing, this is a pricing policy whereby the firm charges a relatively low price for a product initially as a way to reach mass market. So in penetration pricing, as you produce a new product, you will set at low prices. Here, you are typically using the sales maximization pricing objective, okay, because you want to get people to buy more of your product. You want to reach your mass market because people typically are very sensitive with price changes. So people wanted to buy things that are cheaper. What you do penetration pricing, which you set low prices, okay, at the introductory price. So normally you call it only for a limited time that you set this particular price. So after a few months, or let's say during the introductory stage of product life cycle, you set the price at very low. After that, once the product has reached at the growth stage or even maturity stage, you start to increase the price because you believe that customers are loyal to your product already. Okay, so that is penetration pricing. So with that, we finish chapter 5. If you have any questions, do ask me in our Telegram chat. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.